what type of weather pattern will we see over the rest of January? Is another big question that a lot of people probably have, as we're in the heart of winter now, and everyone's wondering, where's the winter weather? Where's our snow? We just got done covering some severe weather over the past 4 days or so that has impacted a lot of people, and that is obviously quite the opposite of winter weather. That's warm and it's everything's opposite. So where's our winter weather at? So we're gonna go over that in today's video. And what you're looking at right here is the 18Z GFS from just a few hours ago. And we're gonna start to look through this. So this is initializing pretty well. Some rain and storm activity on the south side of this low that has brought us severe weather, some much needed rain across a lot of these regions in the secondary circle I just drew here, as well as some flooding. It's as bad as flooding is, I think it's actually kind of a good thing in disguise because we need it so much in a lot of these areas in the southeast. So we're going to click through these frames. I have not looked at any of these. These are all new to me. So you get to look at them for the first time with me. So as we are getting into Sunday afternoon, tomorrow afternoon, some northwest flow snows look to be possible here. The GFS is picking up on this area. Higher elevated regions could see some snow Sunday afternoon. Nothing you haven't seen or can't deal with. And we continue to get through this. Let's get out ahead of us some. So a clipper dives through the upper Midwest and areas of Canada through midway next week, and we have an area of energy begin to develop. These blue and red lines you see are the upper level height contours. So you can see them dropping down here. That indicates a trough. Draw it a little bit bolder here. So there's a trough of low pressure over the eastern U.S. here, and you can see that there's a lot of energy getting associated with it. Some snow, some rain, everything's kind of flying around out here, and so we click through these, and this actually gets some areas of possibly heavy snow going over central Virginia here, but really just some snow getting east of the Appalachian Mountains here. This is getting into Thursday afternoon here. Anywhere from Wednesday to Thursday, we could be having some snow fly around on either the east and west side of the Appalachians, especially the higher elevations. And areas pretty far south in the southern Appalachians and the secondary little circle I just drew in there could definitely see some snow. It's possible. So we're going to continue going here, and this low kind of begins to intensify, getting into early Friday morning here, and throws some heavy snow into the Delmarva region. It's sub 1,000 now, getting stronger. We have another surface low out here across Texas and Oklahoma. We have a pretty strong 997 low up here in Canada with a lot of probably dry snow associated with it. Either way, a lot of snow associated with it. Get all of that off of your screen. We keep going here. And we're going to stop it here. This is late afternoon this coming Friday, 150 hours out. The low pressure we were just talking about along the East Coast has moved out to sea, and we have this 1,002 millibar low up here on the U.S.-Canada border with some light precipitation associated with it. And this is just generally snow. Could be some rain mixed in here in the southern areas. Higher elevation snow here across the Front Range. And so we continue to move this on in time. And we're going to get here to Sunday, late afternoon. Well, actually, late afternoon Saturday. We're not making it very far. A lot is going on here. What we see is our low has moved off into Quebec, and a lot of snow, snow flurries associated with it here. And we have rain. Our southern stream is getting active here. We have some rain and the deep south rolling through. Could there be severe weather associated with this? Hard to tell at this range, but it's possible. It's 174 hours out, little over a week out. But notice, I'm going to get rid of these circles here and draw in another one. Is that we're getting some snow, possibly heavy, pretty far south into northeast Georgia and the western Carolinas here. That's my area, so I like to see that. Um, and so just some rain further south, snow further north, kind of our typical look here. But where's the line? Where's that line between snow and rain is going to be a big question. When we move this forward, and then the GFS does something interesting here at 183 hours out. It decides to pop off a low in the Gulf of Mexico down here. And then in the process of doing that, it slings enough moisture up into this cold air that we get an all out snowstorm beginning to develop for areas of the deep south, areas pretty far south. The Mississippi Louisiana border, for example, is seeing snow. The Western Carolinas are seeing snow. The northern quarter or so of Georgia is experiencing heavy snow. And the northern 2/3 of Alabama are seeing snow. So this is some pretty far south digging energy here that's getting tapped into by some Gulf moisture. This is definitely possible. I won't say one way or the other whether I expect this at this range. It's 183 hours out. But at the same time, it's not like this is 300 hours out and it's all fantasy land. This is well within what we consider a normal forecast range. So it's possible. And then the typical dry snow flying around up here in areas of Canada and the northeast United States. So where does this go from here? We're getting into Sunday morning. Next Sunday morning, the snow sticks around for the southeast. I'm going to get these off of the screen here. Yeah, there we go. And continue onward, and the snow just moves off to the east here. We have it getting into the Delmarva, into central North Carolina, eastern, eastern Virginia. Yeah. All the way up into areas of the Northeast is associated with this. This low is starting to pop off of the eastern seaboard here, and it does so. And this is an interesting look. This is getting further out there near 200 hours, but 995 low out over the Atlantic Ocean, slinging some heavy precipitation back into very cold air here, so that the Atlantic coastline here, all up and down the Northeast, is just getting some snow. So that's the I-95 corridor that has been kind of hit or miss this season, and most seasons, honestly. They're kind of a battleground most of the time. But they're definitely in the mix if this is what plays out. And so we're going to continue this on for a little bit more time here. And what do we get? Nothing. Cooler air, maybe. And then we have two interesting things going on. This is 270 hours out. This is Thursday. Not this coming Thursday, but Thursday after. And we have 990 low up in Canada here with a lot of snow associated with it. And we have some sort of low pressure down here near the Gulf, sending a lot of moisture through the deep south. And the big question with this kind of pattern is, in the circle I just drew, is there going to be any dots connecting here? Was this trough going to get south enough to get snow in these areas, and is this moisture going to get north enough to meet these areas of colder air? I don't know. It's a big question. It's hard to tell at this range, but this kind of look is somewhat favorable if a few things change. And we click through these here. And what do we... Some more Clipper action for the Northeast and the Northern Midwest. And then we just kind of, that's the end of the run. So definitely some possibilities here, but I'll circle this right here. The northern areas of the US and southern areas of Canada will keep getting snow. Rich get richer up here. That's just how it's going to work. And that's what we expect. This is nothing new. And I'm going to draw a secondary circle in a different color here. This area is where I think we'll have a pretty good battleground of, is it going to rain, is it going to snow, and it's going to come down to the day of to kind of determine what's going to happen. And then one more circle here, we're going to divide. Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. We're going to divide the U.S. into thirds here. So we have that one and this one. Areas further south, I don't think you're going to get snow. I think it's going to be rain down here, and that's to be expected. However, remember there was that one little scenario where um, Mississippi and Louisiana was seeing some snow in that little circle. So you never know. All possibilities. So that's the GFS model. We're gonna go to the Euro here. I'm gonna reload it. Make sure that there's no issues with animating it. Perfect. So this is the 12Z. We're gonna flip through these here. Initializing pretty well. Same as the GFS. Get some northwest flow snows going in the southern Appalachians, but it seems lighter, less impactful here. Clipper dives down through southern areas of Canada along the US-Canada border. And do we have dots connecting? This is 114 hours. It's very close. This coming Thursday, less than a week. And so let's draw on this a little bit. So we have this ridiculously deep digging trough here. We know we're going to have that. Model guide, it seems to agree on it. This means a lot of cold air is diving south. And then we have Gulf moisture going on here. So are there going to be any dots that connect? Well, the Euro says maybe. And in this circle I just drew here over areas of the Ohio Valley, we get a wintry mix getting going here. Areas of Kentucky, central Kentucky could be seeing just straight up snow. Areas further to the south will be a battleground, as we were talking about a second ago. So it's hard to tell, but there's something in that time frame, and we continue to go through frames here. Just very, very similar to the GFS. We actually have some model agreements here. 995 low over the Delmarva, slinging some moisture back into this cold air, and we have, I wouldn't say a full-on snowstorm, but areas of snow beginning to develop here over the areas of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic, interior Northeast. So who knows? It's a possibility. It's pretty similar to the GFS, so we have some model agreement there. And we continue this. Other than some light snow showers, nothing to really speak of here. And the GFS does, the Euro does something interesting. Another very deep digging trough here, all the way down past the Gulf Coast. And we have some moisture here, and it's getting into this colder air. So we actually have some snow. This is in like Columbia and points to the west, Atlanta. And we have some wintry mix getting into southern Alabama. So that's a possibility if this trough digs deep enough. And we continue to flip through these frames here. We get a low to develop. This is not this coming Tuesday, Tuesday after. This is a low pressure getting going off of the Carolina coastline, sub 1,000. And there's a lot of moisture associated with it, but the cold air is too far north. So this is a miss. We don't get winter weather off of that, unfortunately. We continue on here. And what do we get? Some more rain, northeast snow, as we would expect. And that's the end of the run. So kind of similar to the GFS in some ways, different in others, but generally the idea is the same. Although I would draw those circles that we did, those three circles, I'll draw them differently. On the Euro, I would go like this. Generally stays to snow. And this is a mix. We don't have just rain. It's technically better for winter weather fans this way. it seems to just overall just maybe be a little bit colder, less amped. So we have more chances here that the precipitation that's rolling around down here in the southeast could get into some cooler air. Who knows? And that's the end of this run. What tab do I have here? So this is the Euro AI. It's been doing very well with temperatures here. So we're going to go through some of these and just see what we got. So I'll go ahead and tell you right now, you'll see this line where it turns to this darker shade of blue. That's the 32 degrees Fahrenheit line. It's the freezing line. So continue this on. Cool morning, Monday morning, and Tuesday morning. And then we have, notice these temperatures up here in Canada, just very cold. All of these areas are below freezing and below zero. So we have that, and then continue on here. And I'm gonna have to switch runs here, but this is getting into an interesting time frame. We have this likely when a trough would be big southward dive of cold Arctic air pretty far south. The freezing line here is well into the deep south states. So deep dive of cold air. Unfortunately, we're gonna have to switch runs because we don't have enough of this one. So we're gonna switch back to the 12Z and play this back out. So it'd be somewhere along in there. So same look, same idea. Deep diving trough here. Continue on, and this look kind of progresses itself east and just does it over and over again. Are there any specific Arctic blast? No, not according to the Euro AI, which has been doing well with temperatures. Nothing's perfect, but it's doing it's doing okay. And there's no big dive of Arctic air that sticks around that long. We have these dives here, such as that one, and this could be a big one getting into next Friday. Temperatures don't really get that warm. I mean, they get into the 40s and 50s in the Carolinas, for example, my neck of the woods. That's cool. I mean, that's not freezing cold, but it's pretty low. But nothing too significant. You don't see, and if I just kind of roll through this, you don't see any of these really deep diving, long lasting Arctic blast here. So something to consider. And then what I have here is the Euro ensemble. So what we're going to do here is navigate to the total snowfall. This is the best ensemble guidance we have right now. The AI stuff is one thing. I don't have access to those. Those are a Weatherbell website thing, as far as I'm aware. I don't have that. But we do have this, and this is the Euro ensemble. Very, very good model to look at for just an overall pattern. So we're going to pull this to the end here. This is the mean total snowfall. So where's our snow line set up? So let's take a look here. This is impressive. It's not like we're getting signals far south for over an inch. I mean, these values down here in the deep south are less than half an inch in most places, and all places actually. But our general snow line has dropped pretty far south. It's nothing crazy. It's not like if we had these dark blue or purple values down south, it'd be one thing. But it's showing signals that on some of these members that we will get some measurable snowfall down here. I mean, in my neck of the woods here, a quarter inch of snow, is that a lot? No, not even a little bit. I mean, that's barely measurable. And I don't look at this and say, well, we're going to get a quarter inch of snow over the next 16 days, because that wouldn't be very encouraging, would it? What I'm really looking at here is just where the snow seems to be setting up. I mean, like I said a minute ago, the rich get richer up in this region. I mean, I don't know. I'll pull it up here on the fly just because I'm curious. Y'all's seasonal snowfall up here has been a lot. It's just a crazy numbers of snow. We keep missing out here in the deep south. Our model guidance keeps trending away from it, but this isn't a bad signal for the long range for just overall snow. I will switch this over to the GFS ensemble. I don't know if we have. I'm gonna use the 12Z because we have all of it, and pull this out to the end. So again, this is different. This is kind of what I was talking about earlier. We're getting these darker values. I mean, that's an average of 2.5 inches, very close to where I live. But one thing worth noting, the GFS ensemble only has like 28 members. The Euro ensemble has 51. So, something to consider. Could be some biases. It's easier to see these biases on ensembles with less members. But in general here, the good snowfall totals line is further south than the GFS, or than the Euro ensembles is. The GFS is lower in latitude than the Euro. So something worth noting here. Nothing too crazy about all of this. I'm going to switch this back to the Euro ensemble, and I'm going to change it here to the average height. So this is this is how we're going to look at high and low pressure, just as an overall pattern. This is not the best view, I know, but either way, it'll be all right. Or I could just change it to this. That's what I'm going to do. So we're going to look at it this way. So we have, I'm going to pull this back, generally back here. So this is the Euro ensemble. This is going to be smooth. There's not going to be anything crazy in either direction here. So we're getting into early next work week. Ridge begins to spike out west, not that far north. Alaska's up here, and it's not spiking all the way up there, but it's centered over California, and it's very prominently there. Like, it's a solid ridge. And we have troughing over here in the eastern U.S. So our flow's going like this and ejecting off over top of the ridge. But one thing that's worth noting here is that the source region for all this air is over the Pacific. So that's not the best for winter weather. And so we keep going. Now, right here, this is the 16th late. Don't worry about the time. Our ridge axis over the western U.S. has moved a little bit. So, or actually, rather, I'll do it like this. It's a high, not a low. It's a little bit further north. You're getting these values up here. So if you think about it, what this really does, obviously you can think, oh, our source air is still out here over the Pacific. These go over here. Well, they do. But when this ridge spikes more to the north, what it does is forces the flow around it so that our cold air source up here in Canada can actually be utilized here. So the air is coming over Alaska, over Canada, down through, I mean, I'm going to use a different color here. This region right here is typically very cold. So it's going right through the middle of it and cooling that air off if it isn't cold already. And we continue to look at the frames here, click through these. So the ridge changes looks a little bit, starts to flatten out. As we get further out, everything's going to look a little bit flatter. We have troughing in general over the eastern U.S. and ridging in general over the western U.S. It's not the absolute best look ever, but it's there. Everything turns zonal as we're getting towards the end of this run. It's January 25th. I mean, this is getting out there in no man's land. And at the end of this run, if we analyze this a little bit, large, expansive troughing over the really only over Canada here, but the shape of the trough is still down here. And then we have ridging over the western U.S. So I'm not going to dive much further into all the teleconnections. This is not the best map and sector to look at that for anyway. There are other ones you can use. But either way, the point is the same, that it's not a bad pattern upcoming. However, there's also nothing specific from our model guidance that indicates a snowstorm for really any area other than the Northeast and the Northern Midwest and the Northern Plains. Everywhere north is just going to keep getting snow. And these areas, you guys know who you are. You've been getting snow for the past, several months on and off. And it reminds me here. I'm gonna minimize it. I'm gonna go back here and just use this. I'm gonna go to observe snowfall here. This is just because I'm curious. I just want to show y'all. We're gonna look at our region here of just the Midwest in these areas. This is 24 hours. Let's look at seasonal. So, uh, you can see what these values are. I don't need to read them all out to you. However, I mean, for example, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we we get so far we white it out, and if we look down at the scale down here about what that could be, over 120 inches of snow have fallen across this area. I'm gonna go back out to the national one so you can just see the overall. You can see it very clearly here who's gotten snow and who's not gotten snow. It's very obvious. Um, that's a terrible color. I'm gonna pick this one because it's not anywhere. This area is going to continue getting snow for the rest of the season. They just are. That's just how it works. Higher elevation areas out here will continue getting snow as usual. And I think our battleground will really be right in here. Areas to the south of that circle I just drew, for example, you guys in this blue circle, I think you're going to struggle to get snow, at least in this time frame we were just looking at, which is the next 16 days, just because these troughs aren't digging far enough south to really impact you guys down here. There's our southern stream that goes riding over this region where I'm drawing these arrows, not very straight, but either way they're there. The southern stream down here remains active and maybe even gets more active, but ultimately it doesn't matter if there's no cold air to meet up with this. It's just going to be rain. Now, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I'm not thankful for the rain. Let me look. Today alone in upstate South Carolina, we've gotten 6,300s. I'm happy for that. I'm thankful for that. But I will say, just the other day, we reached 75 degrees and it's early January. Like, what are we doing? It feels weird. And I'm going to go to the Mid-Atlantic here and see how close we've been. So obviously our northwest flow snows here, depending on exactly where you are, have overachieved. There are probably areas in these mountain peaks have gotten feet of snow by now because there have been plenty of northwest flow events here. Some extended family in the southern corners of Virginia have also gotten enough snow to measure. Central Virginia has hit the jackpot here. In West Virginia, I'm going skiing in West Virginia in just a few weeks here, and look at them. I mean, they've gotten the entire state has gotten over a foot of snow by now. Areas in the higher elevations have gotten, I mean, good grief, that would be 4 feet of snow in some area. I mean, the higher elevations that aren't even going to show up on this map here have gotten even more than that. So I say all that to say that in general, our pattern upcoming, I'm just going to put this on a loop and let it play here. Our pattern upcoming will be interesting. We need to watch it. There are, as of right now, no real winter storms showing up on our model guidance that we should be paying attention to. But that being said, there's also several from both models that we were looking at. There's several possibilities here to get snow. So don't think winter's over if you're down here in the southeast. It's not. It's early January. It's the 10th. We don't need to be worrying that winter's over yet. We've got another solid month before we can say that winter's over. And this only goes 16 days out. So we need to be careful about saying, "Oh, winter's over." Everyone thinks that for some reason. It's not over. So yeah, that's all I have for you. It's not over yet. I may eat my words when I say this, but I think we're going to get snow down here in the southeast. I may eat my words. I don't care if I do. but we might. I think we will at some point, even if it's not a whole lot. I think we'll get some. Model guidance is hinting at that possibility. It has been for a long time. And mid to late January is the peak time for us to get snow anyway. We're not even there yet. So before we say winter's over, let's get to the favorable times and see what model guidance begins to show us. There have been a lot of flip flopping of these models. And so before we say that winter's over, let's get to the favorable time frame first, and then we will figure that out. But that's all I have for you guys. Thanks for tuning in. Like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys in the next one that I make.